Very good evening. Jai Shri Krishna Guru. Thank you for joining the Bhagavad Gita Satsang, the way of life as described by Lord Shri Krishna to Arjuna. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Om Shri Saraswataya Namaha, Om Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha, Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. We'll be continuing from chapter 4, that is the yoga of knowledge as well as the disciplines of action and knowledge. And in this, the Lord is describing to Arjuna about the conduct of yogis and sages, its glory, as described by Lord Shri Krishna himself. And we'll also be starting about the subject on different forms of sacrifices described with their fruits. So let us begin from verse 22 onwards. So chapter 4, verse 22. The Karma Yogi who is contented with whatever is got unsought is free from jealousy and has transcended all pairs of opposites like joy and grief, and is balanced in success and failure, is not bound by his action. So here the Lord has been explaining to Arjuna, who is this yogi, one who is who's following the yoga of karma, yoga of action, and what are his conduct, what are the things that he's doing, what is the kind of the state of his being. That is what the Lord is describing. Now in the last verse, that is the verse 21 of chapter 4, we learnt about something very important. In that the Lord said, having subdued his mind and body and having given up all objects of enjoyments, free from craving, he who performs sheer bodily action does not incur sin. So who does not incur sin, who is not bound, is what the Lord described, having subdued his mind, body. I have explained at length about how it is so important to overcome the mind, body, senses, the gunas, everything, the attachment, the attraction, the repulsion, the pairs of opposites. And the Lord is exactly continuing with that. He's saying the Karma Yogi. Who is the Karma Yogi? One who is contented with whatever is got unsought. This is very important. Whatever is got unsought, which means you are not going after something. You are not seeking it. It comes to you naturally. That which comes to you naturally, you are very contented with that. You are not craving for it. You are not desiring. That is what he's saying. The Karma Yogi who is contented with whatever is got unsought. You are not demanding. You are not working hard for it. You are not craving. You are not, trying to buy something, trying to possess something. Not at all. That comes to you very naturally, effortlessly. So whatever is got unsought is free from jealousy and has transcended all pairs of opposites like joy and grief. Oh my God. This is where we all get stuck. And this is the biggest, quality or the biggest factor determining how you can attain your spiritual wheel or not. The reason being, free from jealousy. Have you ever watched or observed yourself? If somebody gets something which you think, the person is undeserving, or you think that you are the one rightfully who should have got that, then there is immediate malice, avarice, jealousy comes in. Jealousy is because, oh look, that other person has and I don't have it. Why should the other person get? You're very jealous. If somebody is wearing a nice sari, look at her, she has this beautiful sari, I also want it, I wish I could get it. But what you don't seem to understand is that, look, it's not about feeling jealous that somebody has and you don't have. It is about what is that you want. I wouldn't say you have to desire and you have to possess it. No. Why don't you just be contented with what you have? You need to understand where is the other person coming from. A beautiful lesson which my Krishna Guruji always explains and teaches all of his disciples and devotees that, what is due to you will anyways come to you. Why are you bothered? And why are you seeing in what is there in somebody else's plate? He'll always say, look into your own plate and what you want to offer to the Lord, or what Lord has offered to you. Look into your plate. Why are you seeing in your neighbor's plate? Why are you seeing what they are doing, with the offering, or what is it they are offering to the Lord? That should not be your focus. Always be contented with what you have. That is what he's saying here. Whatever is got unsought. The Karma Yogi is contented. Who is contented? With whatever he's got, which he gets effortlessly. He's not going after that thing, and he's free from jealousy. How can you become free from jealousy? Is when you're contented with everything that you have. You're not craving for things, you're not desiring for things. Imagine someone who aspires, okay, I want to go to, I want to go for a holiday to Hawaii, and that's an aspiration. So who can aspire? One who thinks, can afford going to that place. Or somebody, there are people who will make a plan, okay, in my life, in this lifetime of mine, I want to go to some place. Say, assume they want to go into some place. Now what they do is, they, every single penny they earn, they try to set aside some funds, the savings, they make a pool of that. Say, they make a pool of their earnings, they save that amount, so that one day they will be able to fulfill this petty desire of theirs. Either it is going to Hawaii, or buying something, or trying to buy a house, whatever the desire can be. We all work hard, like, the ant, they are we call the worker ants, the workers. And then we work so hard to collect that every little morsel. Have you observed an ant, how they collect the food, so that during the rainy season they are secured, they have the food, they don't have to go look for the food. So if you see the way the ant collects the food, it's quite very beautiful, interesting way to observe what they do. So what exactly are they doing? They're collecting that little food. They're working really hard and gathering all that. But imagine something happens, that wherever they've gathered the food, that food gets washed away. Then what happens? They're completely dejected. Even they die, the food is gone, everything is gone. Similarly, our life as well. We try to collect every little things to fulfill that desire, to fulfill that want of ours. And then what happens? One day everything crumbles and falls. We're never satisfied. This morning, my Krishna Guruji was giving a very beautiful lesson on this, especially on this subject. He taught me, he was telling, the day you will start thinking about others, it is about thou. He was just giving a lesson. He was telling, it's not about I, me, myself. It is not about I want to, buy this for me. I want to earn money so that I can satisfy my desires. It is not about that. It is about the world. When you serve the world, when you do things for the people, then you're serving God. Then you can see God in everybody. And then that purpose of your existence becomes so strong that you're willing to, give up your life for that cause. Then you find a meaning to your life. The purpose of my existence, there is a purpose why you're existing on this planet Earth. And then you wake up with that enthusiasm, you wake up with that gutso, that energy, that grit, the determination to go do something in the world. Because you're not doing it for your selfish benefit, but you're doing it for the betterment of this world, the people around you, for the well-being of everybody. You're trying to uplift the downtrodden. So whatever that you're trying to do, but there is a cause, there is a purpose. And when you see the others, smiling, because that little thing that you've done has impacted them, has affected them in some way or the other, that's the greatest bliss that you can ever get. That smile, that happiness that you give to others is where you will find God. And that is where you will see God in everybody. And that is when you will attain God realization. But when you continue to, satisfy your own desires, continue to do things for yourself, then you're not going to achieve anything. You're never going to be happy at all. This is exactly what my Krishna Guruji was teaching. You're never going to be satisfied with yourself. He also taught a very beautiful lesson. See, many of us in our life, we're deprived of many things. He was just giving an example how in America, a lot of people are deprived. And so what happens is, they make it a point in their life saying, okay, I want whatever that is they have been deprived, they want to attain that. They want to achieve that. It could be family, it could be love, it could be money, it could be going to a school, whatever that is, education, you name it. That deprivation becomes their, the factor called, a goal in their life, or something which is a burning desire within their being, saying, I am deprived of this object or whatever that is they are seeking, and I want to attain that. So they go after that. They make that deprivation as their life goal. So they are able to achieve, they are able to, do fantastic things in their life. They're able to do great feats in their life and become somebody fantastic. But at the end of the day, they are still a miserable human beings. Why? Because they have only worked hard to achieve it for themselves. But after having achieved, they are not happy with their life at all. Why? Because there is no purpose. The purpose existed till the time they wanted to achieve that objective. Once that objective has been accomplished, then there is no purpose left. Why? Because it was just a self-satisfaction, that grief of, they wanted to overcome that sadness, that, that anger in them. We remember in chapter 2, we did something very beautiful, a lesson, which is called unfulfilled desire ensues anger. So the deprivation that I did not get this, led them to that fire in the belly to go and accomplish. And that was unfulfilled desire. So that fire kept burning till the point they had to achieve that. But once they achieved, what happened? They became very, they were back to square one. They're still the unhappy people. They're still miserable. So what does that tell you? See, no matter how much you try to do things for yourself, you're never going to be contented. Contentment comes when you understand that real joy is in the joy to give to others. It is in serving others that you find your own happiness, your own purpose. Most important, when you find your purpose, then you become contented within yourself. There is nothing more for you to want. Ask yourself this question. See, we all talk about, wearing good clothes, jewelry, you name it, having a good house, a good life. We want to have sufficient money in the bank so that we are not going to face any challenges when we need some liquid cash with us, or, you want to have a good car, everything, good health, you name it. All these are desires. But even after having all of that, what is it you're feeling? Are you happy with yourself? The question about being happy is something that you have to ask. Again, happiness is a state of mind, because happiness is only a momentary thing. So that is why in spirituality we call it bliss. Bliss is a state where you're living in that beautiful existence of love at all times. And you're not swaying between I'm happy and then I'm sad. I'm happy, then I'm feeling miserable. You're not doing this yo-yo at all. You're in that state of constant existence of love. And the word is called bliss. And love is not something which is material worldly love. This is a love for the divine Lord. A universal love which cannot be described adequately in words. You have to experience it to understand what this love means. It's absolutely pure. It's untainted. There is no conditions to this love. It's unconditional love. And that is why it is said, to attain Lord Sri Krishna, the only thing that you require is love and devotion. But what kind of love and devotion? You need to have unconditional pure love, and exclusive devotion. And most important is absolute faith, complete surrender. And then the other three important aspects, which is dispassion, detachment, and discrimination. When you have these seven, seven aspects, or the qualifications required, then only you can attain the divine Lord. Otherwise, you cannot. So my Krishna Guruji was teaching me this. The reason why you're not feeling, you're not liking something, or you're going through the state of mind, like we all go through, the ups and downs, the yo-yo happens, is because we are not thinking about the world. Yeah, our goal is there. We want to serve the world. We want to do things for the world. But again, we have our own parameters we define, which is like, oh, this world doesn't deserve it. I don't think I want to work for this world. Why do I need to do this for the world when the world is so bad and mean? That's how we look at it. And who's making the judgment? The mind is making the judgment. But who are we to judge anybody in this world? Isn't the God's creation the most perfect one? Of course, yes. And why do you think that the Lord himself is manifesting to establish dharma? Isn't even he doing things for his own creation? Of course, he takes all the pains to manifest time and again, to impart this beautiful knowledge and then put people on the path and establish dharma when adharma is on the rise. So the Lord himself is manifesting time and again, and he works and he serves everybody. You know, he has such an ordinary appearance, like a mundane human being. That's what happens. But what does that teach us? That teaches how to be humble, how to have humility and selfless service unto this lotus feet of the divine Lord plus the world. So when you serve the world is when you're serving the divine Lord himself, because God lives in everybody's heart. But obviously the manifestation is not in everyone. That's why you can't see divine in everybody. But in some people, you can see it very predominant. Why? Because they are manifested in that body and they live in that body. It's just an abode. It is like it's a garment that they are wearing. That's what they have donned, a garment. That is what it is all about. So, what is very important is that the importance that you need to know is that it is not about satisfying your own desires. It is about serving a purpose in this world. And that purpose, the day you find, and then every single day after that will make a big difference to your life. Simply because when you go and work for others, you find the greater joy in giving, in doing things for others. But till the time you don't do it, you're not going to be able to understand that existence, that state of blissfulness. In the state of blissfulness, it is neither happy nor sad. Again, I am giving this happiness or sadness is because it's only a state of mind. But in the blissful state, you exist in that love for others. So my Guruji was telling me this morning that how your heart widens up, it opens up, you become a big hearted. We say no, you need to have a big heartedness. What does that word big hearted mean? That you're able to accommodate everybody in your world. It's like the ocean. Ocean is Athanga Sagar. It is limitless. Nobody can measure the breadth and the depth of the ocean. But have you ever observed the ocean? Everything comes and finally merges in the ocean. And the ocean accommodates everybody. The ocean never says, oh no, you don't come here, don't stay here with me, don't get into me. The ocean never says anything like that. On the contrary, it's ever full. It's full. It's through with itself. And this is one of the water is one of the principal gurus, one of the 24 principal gurus of Lord Dattatreya. And in that he's talking about what water represents. So how should we be? Our heart should be like that ocean. Open heart, big heartedness. We should be able to accommodate everybody in our heart, in our life. And we have to love everyone. Yes, the mind is going to say, oh, these people are unworthy. But we are nobody to judge somebody's worthiness or unworthiness. God has made them. God has put them in that place. So what makes us believe that somebody is worthy of something or not? And that is what puts us backward in our, evolvement on the path of spirituality. So don't have, that bias attitude towards anybody. See everybody with that equal eye. Samabhav is what you need to have, where you're seeing everybody in the same, in the same stature. Nobody is less, nobody is more. Please remember, at the end of the day, everybody is a human being who's trying to evolve or trying to do something with their life. So the Karma Yogi, is the one, the kind of Karma Yogi. The Karma Yogi who is contented with whatever he's got unsought, is free from jealousy and has transcended all pairs of opposite like joy and grief. So then there is no pairs of opposite that exists for us. You know why? Because we are very focused on our purpose, serving the purpose of our existence. So where is the question of finding joy and happiness? Or where is the question of feeling, joy or sad or happy or sad? It doesn't exist. Then you have transcended the pairs of opposites like hate, like, dislike, hate, love. You have you ever observed yourself? We are always in the constant friction of yo, and this is very strong, especially as you evolve on the path higher and higher. When you are evolving very high in spirituality, please remember the mind puts these pairs of opposites and disturbs you endlessly. And in Lord Sri Krishna in chapter 2 has very nicely explained. One word he says continuously, even in chapter 3 we learnt about it, which is Arjuna, you be self-controlled. You have to control the mind. It's not about overcoming the mind. It is about controlling the mind. How do you control the mind? That is what you need to ask yourself by practicing, by sadhana, by understanding this knowledge which is being imparted. See, there is no use for anything in this world if it is not serving a cause, if it is not serving a purpose. That, like I keep repeating the same thing in every satsang of mine. How much more is more, or how much more is enough, or how much enough is enough, is something that you need to ask yourself. If you have $1 million, would you say you're happy? Or how much money do you need to be contented? The question is contentment here. How much money do you need to be? How much money do you need to overcome jealousy? Or what is that will make you overcome these demonic qualities that we have within us, all the shadripus? So once we overcome this, then we have to transcend all the pairs of opposites like joy and grief. No, we have to transcend the pairs of opposites like joy and grief. Why do we sometimes grief? Why does grief come to you? Why do you feel grief stricken? Why are you feeling like that? Ask yourself this question. Because we are lost in our mind space. And who's the one who's making you feel all of that? And that is your mind alone. Till the time you don't practice to control your mind or subdue your mind. Here also in last verse, he's teaching the same thing. Having subdued his mind and body, and having given up all objects of enjoyment. Having subdued his mind and body. So what is that you're not able to control or subjugate is your mind and body. Till the time you don't practice, put arduous effort in subjugation of your mind and body, you're never going to be able to overcome. The mind is going to constantly keep troubling you, and it is going to tell you all sorts of things to just make you feel irritated, agitated, and then what it is going to make you get out of that focus on the divine Lord. It is going to pull you off from being one with the divine Lord. That's the yoga. Whether it is through service, whether it is through action, whether it is through bhakti, whatever the path might be, the mind is never going to allow you to do. So what is missing is just doing it. This morning I was telling my Guruji, I said, Krishna Ma, please, tell me, how do I, become absolutely disciplined? Sometimes it's not about this, you're not disciplined. The indiscipline comes when the mind comes in. Because then the mind says, oh, today you don't feel like going to walk. Today you don't need to do this. Today you don't need to do that. The thing that the mind is, instigating you is to not to do. Whereas what is the Karma Yoga all about is to do. So my Guruji said very beautifully, the answer is very simple, he said. He said, you just have to do it. How do you discipline yourself? By just doing it. Yeah, your mind is going to say, I don't want to get up. I don't like to do this. I don't want to do any of these things. Why am I supposed to do? That is how your mind is going to react. But what is your job? Your job is to do alone. That is exactly what Lord Shri Krishna has been teaching since the last chapter. Please do. Please do. He's saying to Arjuna, lift your bow and arrow and shoot. You can't tell me at this hour, at this moment in time, that I am not going to fight. That is not going to work out. You will have to fight. You have to shoot the arrows. So who's this reluctance? Who's making Arjuna become reluctant? The mind. The mind is the one who's instigating him as well. But whose job is it to go beyond that? Whose job is it to control the mind and use that knowledge which the Lord is imparting to do something, to do your duties, to do your swadharma? But the mind is not allowing. So how do you overcome? You have to control. You have to subjugate the mind through practice, through sadhana. So once you have transcended all pairs of opposites like joy and grief, and is balanced in success and failure. This is again a very, very important lesson. Balanced in success and failure. Have you observed yourself? Every time you succeed, you are overwhelmed with joy, happiness, you're on top of the world, you name it. A lot of things are happening. Like my Guruji was telling, when you get some good marks in some subject, you're elated. You're actually feeling no end of yourself. Oh, I could do this. I've been able to achieve so much. I've been able to achieve this marks. I've studied hard. Whatever, that you're finding excited. You're finding excitement. You're feeling so good about yourself. But the same thing when you fail, then what happens? Say, assuming you've done great in your exam, but when your mark sheet come, you're disappointed because they have, it's not the marks that you were expecting. Then what happens? So that elation has gone into what? You're completely gone down, feeling down and out, feeling low, feeling miserable. Why don't we have the balance in both success and failure? That is why there's a beautiful saying: don't let don't let success get to your head and failure to your heart. What does that mean? We have to be balanced. Failure is a part of our growth. Okay, until you don't fail, until you don't fall, how will you learn to understand what it means to succeed in, and how what it means to really run, like walk? So every child has to fall before they, have that perfect footing. Before they take that first few steps, they are going to stumble and fall. Similarly, in life also, we will fall, but it is about how do you pick yourself up, how do you gather yourself and rise and shine and go ahead and not deter. Just because you fell few times doesn't mean that that is what life is all about. So a few failures, does it mean that you are a failure for life? No, everybody fails in their life. We all have to go through that learning curve. What is missing in us is that knowledge and understanding that failure is a part of life. So why do we have to react badly? When you fail, you feel hurt, you feel miserable, you're crying, you're doing, you're throwing tantrums, you're doing too many things. You're unable to handle the situation. Why? Because you're not balanced. And that is what it says: balanced in success and failure. He's not bound by his action. And who is not bound by his action? One who is able to attain all of this and practice all of this. Either you succeed or you fail, it should not affect you. It should not matter to you at all. But why does that matter to you? Is because we think succeeding is all the ultimate thing that exists. But please remember, to understand what success means, till you don't fail, you don't understand what success is all about. So, one who is able to practice all of this is not bound by action. I hope even one lesson, if we are able to live from what the Lord has taught, we will make our life very beautiful and also the people around us. That is the truth. So let us continue with the next verse. That is chapter 4, verse 23. All his actions get dissolved entirely. Who is free from attachment and has no identification with the body, and free from the feeling of mind, whose mind is established in knowledge of self, and who works merely for the sake of sacrifice. So what is the Lord telling here? He's saying all his actions get dissolved entirely. Who is free from attachment? Who is free from attachment? You know what? I've been talking about this attachment for quite some time. In the last few chapters, this is the fourth chapter we are on now. The second and third chapter entirely spoke about this attachment. It spoke about, transcending the pairs of opposites. It spoke about how do you have balance, whether you succeed or fail. It shouldn't matter. Whether people call you names or people praise you to heaven, both should not affect you at all. So he's saying all his actions get dissolved. So whose actions? To the one who is free from attachment. So his actions are completely dissolved. Even when he performs any action, it doesn't still affect. He's just doing his sheer bodily action. So this is what the Lord is teaching to Arjuna also. You are not doing anything wrong. You're just performing your bodily action. And it is part of the body. The body is born with certain set of duties, and the duties have to be done to the highest of one's abilities. So what makes Arjuna say, I don't want to fight? That is exactly what the Lord is teaching him. All his action get dissolved. Entirely, who is free from attachment. So Arjuna, you become free from attachment. Why are you thinking today you're going to kill your kith and kin, you're going to kill your, family, your neighbor, your relatives, your teachers, your gurus, everybody, right? Your cousins, he's going through this dilemma. The dilemma is, how can I kill them? How can I fight this war? Because everybody in my enemy camp, in the other side of the battlefield, my enemy, all the people are those who are associated with me. Now, how do I kill them? This is the dilemma that he's in. But please remember, in the world of the divine Lord, There is nothing like your attachment to somebody, like you're a family, you're this, you're that. That doesn't exist. So that is what even Lord Shri Krishna is telling. You know, who is free from attachment? He has to just become free from attachment. Why are you attached, Arjuna? I think that is what he has explained so far. And has no identification with the body. Oh, that's a bigger challenge. Has no identification with the body. How do you not identify? You know, we have been given a name to this body. This body's name is RajShree. Today, my Guruji has given a beautiful name to me, calling RajShree Maa. So when people call to this body, are they calling this body, or who is it? Who is the name given to? But when my Guru named me, the name was not given to the body. He's actually has named the divine being, who truly I am. But in the material world, the body has a name. I go by the name Rajshri Kubendar Rao. So who is Kubendar Rao? This body's father, the surname of this body. But is that my real name? No. The name which your Guru gives you is the real name, which is not associated to the body, but it is directly, calling the divine being. It is the name of the divine being. So the attachment is to the body. Why? Because we identify with the body. Oh, I am Rajshri Kubendar Rao. I am the daughter of so and so, because in my passport that is the legal name that has been mentioned. But the day you get initiated, who is your real father or mother, and everything to you, everything for you, who is the one? That one is the divine Lord, your Guru, who is none other than the divine Lord. Guru Sakshat Parabrahma. The Parabrahma has manifested in the form of your Guru. And he is your mother, father, your Karta Dharta, means everything. He takes care of your entire being, your world, not just the past, the present, the future as well. He secures everything for you. He ensures there's no calamity shall befall. He ensures that you become that most beautiful gem, the priceless gem, and which can be adorned by Lord Shri Krishna himself, like Kaustubh. That is what the Guru does. And today, what we fail to understand is this truth. We go with the identification with the body. See, when a Guru is giving you a name, when he initiates and he gives you the name, he's actually initiating you from the unreal to the real, which means he's saying this body, whatever that you had, the vasanas tendency, you believe that you're born to certain parents, everything is one, everything goes away. You give up all that. That is why they say that initiation is a process where, you do tarpan, you're doing tarpan to that old person you were. You're born through some womb, you have a family, all that. So all that you give up, and then you become part of the Guru Putra, or you become Guru Putri, Vasudev Kutumbam. You become part of that family. What does that tell you? That tells you the day you get initiated by a Guru, he gives you a name. That name is a real name of who you truly are. That is the name he gives you. He calls you from that, with that name. And that invokes that divinity. When he says that RajShree Maa, that there is a very profound truth behind that. Or any other being, right? Like when we call my Krishna Guruji, what does that tell you? He is Lord Shri Krishna, the essence of Lord Shri Krishna, and he is a Guru, the greatest master of this planet, in this entire universe. So he is that being. So we're actually calling him by his real name, not a name somebody who has named him. My Guruji's bodily name is Suresha. Is he really that? No. That's a name given to him by his worldly parents, through whom he was born. But the real name of my Krishna Guruji is Krishna Guruji. And that name actually, he's directly telling you who he is. So this truth is not understood by us. Why does the Guru give you a new name? And that name represents what? What does that name mean? So every time when the Guru calls you by that name, and everybody else calls you by that name, or addresses you by that name, that divinity also invokes within us. He's reminding you, he's waking you up from the slumber. Get up, wake up. This is who you are. You are not that body. Your name is not that. That is already dead. Now this real being is what is being awakened. It's an awakening. It's a method of awakening. Every single time, the Guru keeps calling you by that name. He's awakening you. He's telling you, remember yourself. You have forgotten who you truly are. You are in a deep slumber. Wake up to the reality. That is the invocation he does. Can you ever understand this truth? Everything that the Guru does has a huge significance, but we can't see it. We think the Guru is talking in the air. Even the most basic joke that he might crack has a profound truth, because every word from the Guru's mouth is a gospel truth. The Guru's ways are very, very unique. It's unfathomable. We can't understand the methods and the way they use. So this is the truth. So the bodily attachment is something that we have to overcome. Identification with this body is very, very difficult to overcome, but you have to strive hard. So the reminder constantly saying, I am not this body, I am the spirit. Spirituality is all about understanding the truth that I am not this body, I am the spirit. See, these lessons, of course, it's very much spiritual, but what does it also teach us? It teaches us that as a material worldly being, how do you also live in this material world? By following the path of dharma, that is righteousness. And how do you redeem yourself from incurring any sins? It's a way, it is a path, even for the people, those who don't believe in spirituality. But I understand one thing, our entire life itself is based on this whole scripture. So what makes us think that, oh, we are not in spiritual, we don't believe in this? Yeah, you have gone off the path. The path that you have gone off is you're not following the framework on which this entire universe is resting on. And we have gone off that path, and that is why the Lord manifests to establish the dharma back, which is to put people back on the path. And how many are willing to come back on the path? Hardly any. Not everybody. So he's ensuring that he gives that right knowledge. That is what he's teaching Arjuna, giving him that right knowledge, right tools, and showing him the right direction. What is the future? How should he be? How should he do? What is that it's required for him to do now? That is what he's also guiding Arjuna. So, most important. So, get over this attachment of the body. Understand that you are not this body. You are the spirit who exists. You are that spirit. That is what spirituality talks about. I am the spirit and I am not the body. So, get rid of this bodily attachment and free from the feeling of mine. Don't have this feeling, oh, this is mine, it is my mother, my father, my brother, my wife, my this, my husband, my children, my house, my car, mine. I, me, myself. That is what you have to get over it. It is everything is thou. Do you think anything we own in this world? When we are born, we come with nothing. When we have to die, we go back with nothing. Then what makes us think that we possess and own things? I've seen some of the old people. Recently also somebody was giving a very interesting example of their own situation that is there. This old man has everything with him, okay? He has all the property in the world. His wife has passed away. He has nothing to do right now, and he just, he's got everything, yet he's very unhappy. He's feeling miserable, and because of him feeling miserable, he's also making other people within the family feel miserable. He's just irritating everybody. Why? Because the person doesn't have a purpose. The person doesn't have anything to do. But who stopped him from doing anything? Why doesn't the person do? Because they have just taken it for granted. Oh, I have all the money in the world. I don't need to do anything. I'll just sit and boss around. But that's not the life all about. Please remember, you are at an age where you can do something good in this world. Instead, you just sit and watch TV, that idiot box all day long. Waste your life. And then what? You're not even doing anything for this world. You're just trying to protect your money. What is your age? Tomorrow if you die, are you going to take anything and go? No, you're not even making people happy. Can you not give some to some people? No, I want to possess it. I'm just holding it tight. Why? Why do you need to hold it tight? Why are you holding it? Why are you still thinking, I need the charge, I need to feel, I need to feel the power. Tomorrow something might happen to you, and then your children are going to fight for that property. Instead, can you not just settle it while you're alive? Why doesn't this people understand in this world? So I've seen how people think. They think they live in that very petty world. There are people who still live in 16th century. Not even 18th, 19th century. They live way behind time and still think and expect the others to follow their norm. That is not correct. So what does it tell us? That tells us that it is the feeling of mine exists so much. It has to be my way. It has to be my, it's mine. I will do what I want with it. I will give when I want with it. That's the highly being selfish. But please remember, By doing these kind of things, you're actually falling down way beyond. You're already in the rock bottoms. You're in that deepest hell. Why is there anything further that you can go? No. So why are you more inviting trouble for yourself? Please remember, the universe is listening, the Prakriti is listening. The Lord is not the doer, which he said, I am the non-doer, I am the immortal Lord, who's a non-doer, yet everything is the one I've created. But when he says it's created, means what? Yeah, he has defined the order, he has defined everything, but who's the actual creator of this universe? It has emanated from him. His Prakriti is the creator. She's Mother Nature. But the feeling that it's mine, oh, I am the one, I am the greatest. People have this kind of stupid false belief, and they're not only wasting their life, they're also disturbing the peace and happiness of other people around. Why do you do that? That is the reason simply is because you don't have a purpose in life. So that is why we say that you need to do your swadharma, the purpose of your existence, by following the path of dharma. So today, no matter what age you might be, you have to keep yourself busy. You have to do things. You know what people get busy with after a certain age? They get very busy with focusing on their sicknesses. They invite too much of sickness. And they say, okay, today I need to take so many injections, I have to drink this, I have to drink that, I need to eat this, I need to eat that. They're only focusing on that part whole day. Then where is the question of you being healthy and doing something for this world? It's not going to be there. It's very sad state how people live in today's day and age. Why? Because they have not made an effort to learn. They have not made an effort to do anything in their life. So where is the question of attaining that freedom? Attaining the spiritual wheel doesn't even exist. But where is the question of getting out of that attachment of mine, I, me, myself? It cannot happen. So the individuals, all these old people are miserable because they don't have a purpose and they don't want to do anything in the world. And they will still say, oh, I am right. And their egos are so bloated, you just don't know what to do. And then, you know what, there's another blackmail that happens. Oh, I'm a senior citizen, people need to respect my age. What age? When you are not worthy of any respect, what is the respect that you're craving for? The body? Attachment to the body. Oh, how can somebody talk to me like that? I'm an elderly person. What nonsense, when you don't even know how to live a life, trying to possess, and you don't even want to let go of anything. You're at an age where you're going to die. Can you not take the name of the divine Lord? Can you not do something good in this world so that you can redeem yourself from all the sins that you have incurred for so long? No, but they'll be very focused. I need this, I need that. They are only bothered about themselves. This is what my Krishna Guruji was telling me. The day you understand that there is a purpose bigger than yourself, and that is the day you will start appreciating life. You will see goodness in this world. But to get there is not easy. We have to strive really hard. It's like a start. It's literally like my Guruji will say, dhakka start. It's a starting trouble. Somebody has to kick. You have to kick start it. The kick is what the Guru gives you. So, the Divine Lord, when He gives you that name, He calls you by that name, He's actually telling you what is your real name. The bodily attachment, the bodily name that you have is what existed when you were born, which was given to you by this worldly parents. But are you that real one? That is not who you are. This is the truth you need to understand. And how do you understand? Only when you give up your attachment to the body, when you give up that identification that you think, I am this body, I am this individual. You are not that. And that conviction has to firm up within. Till that conviction doesn't firm up within, you are still going to be, meandering around the situation that you are in. You're constantly going to feel that friction. I like, I dislike, yo. Someday I'm happy, someday I'm sad. Someday I'm feeling top of the world and I want to go conquer. And the next day I'm totally down and out. This yo-yo is going to happen. But you have to control and overcome. That is exactly what Lord Shri Krishna is teaching. And then what is he saying? Whose mind is established in the knowledge of self, and who works merely for the sake of sacrifice. Oh my God. I am exhausted. Every single day, when I had to do this beautiful verse, it's absolutely empowering. But the application of knowledge, why doesn't it happen? It's not so easy. You know why? Because the subjugation of mind is not happening. The identification of the body is not going. So the moment the identification of the body happens, the mind comes in, then you feel you're the body, something is happening to you, somebody said something to you, it's mine, oh, somebody's taking away some stuff from you. All these nonsensical thoughts come about, and that is going to pull you down. So you have to strive really hard to achieve this. And what is important? Whose mind is established in the knowledge of self. What is the Lord first giving you? The right knowledge. He's imparting to Arjuna the knowledge, which is extremely essential. The right knowledge. Then he has the right tools, and he's showing him the right direction. So the Lord is actually teaching Arjuna the way of life. It's not just spiritual. This is for every human being. Even to exist in this material world, you need to follow this framework on which our entire life is based. But we have all gone off this path of framework. We have gone off the framework. That is why the divine Lord has to manifest to establish dharma, to put people back on the path. That is what he does. So, whose mind is established in the knowledge of self? What is that self? The self is that divine, the divine being. We say God realization or self-realization. Till the time you don't understand self, how can I actually point out what is self? Like my Guruji will also say, you can't describe or explain adequately with any words. You can't comprehend with words, but you have to experience. For experiencing, you have to walk this path. This knowledge can only be imparted to you through experience. See, knowledge is one. He's telling you what to do, what not to do. But, to understand it practically, you have to apply. The fructification of knowledge can happen only when you keep practicing it. And the day the fructification of knowledge happens, you will understand it yourself. That is why it says self-realization or God realization. If the realization is within, it is self, it's myself, that higher self. It's not about the lower self, that ego. The divine self is what will reveal itself to you. But first you have to become a pure being. You can't have this contamination within your heart. And finally what? And who works merely for the sake of sacrifice. Oh my God, what does he do? Who works merely for the sake of sacrifice. What is the sacrifice we are talking about? In earlier verses, in the back few satsangs, I've explained what does the sacrifice mean. When we eat, we are actually offering sacrifice to the God in our stomach. It's everything is a sacrifice. When you're seeing this beautiful creation of the divine Lord, you're offering the sacrifice. It's not about them possessing, right? Similarly, it is here he's teaching something very beautiful. Who works merely for the sake of sacrifice. So whatever job that I'm doing, I'm not doing because I have to please myself, or I'm doing it for my own, to satisfy my own desires. No, I'm doing it for a sacrifice. The sacrifice is to the divine Lord. And when I am doing the service of doing the work, it's an offering to the divine Lord. We say, the sacrificial kund. Kund is that pit in which you put the sacrifice, you put those offerings, and that is what it means. So through your work, you're offering the sacrifice. It is merely for the sake of sacrifice alone you're working. That is what it means to serve the purpose of your existence, not for any personal benefits. And this is not an easy lesson to follow. It is very, very difficult, but you have to live this lesson if you want to follow the path of Karma Yoga, where you're performing selfless action. There is no motivation in that action, and it is for the benefit and the well-being of this entire universe. It is for the goodness of this whole universe, and that is when you serve the divine Lord, and where you'll be able to see God in everybody. That is the state you have to achieve, and this is not easy, I'm telling you again, but you will be able to get there with the divine grace. And when you make that effort, it is possible. The divine Lord is with you. Why fear when I am here, says Baba. Similarly, the Lord is the one who's a charioteer of your life. You hand over the reins to him. He's going to drive you around. You just have to do your job. That is what is not understood. Imagine if Arjuna would have understood it right here. Second chapter itself would have finished Bhagavad Gita. But we are in chapter 4 and we have 14 more chapters to go. With that, let us stop here today. If you have any questions, do write to us. We'll be very happy to take on your questions too. Thank you for joining the Bhagavad Gita Satsang, the way of life as described by Lord Shri Krishna to Arjuna. Om Shri Mahaganapate Namaha. Om Shri Gurudev Datta. Om Shri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Digambara Digambara Shripad Vallabha Digambara. Om Shri Krishna Guru Nathanata Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Devi Durgaya Namaha. Om Shri Krishna Arpanam Namastu. Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru.